Well, hey, everybody. Getting ready to record episode 227 of Mike in the Midwest. Change that color real quick. I don't like that color. Let's make it blue. There we go. All right, let's do this. Dang it. Gotta fix that real quick. Here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 227 of Mike in the Midwest, our mini podcast for the amazing patrons just like you of the Be Our Guest podcast. Shout out Veronica, tuned in live on YouTube. Hope you are having a great Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States of America. Of course, my name is Mike Rahman, host of the Be Our Guest podcast. You can find me all the places at Be Our Guest Mike. I'm mostly on Instagram and Twitter. That's where I tend to be because on Twitter, that's where all the sports people hang out, like my good friend Jason and all my Mizzou people that we talk about the ups and downs of our sports teams. They tend to hang out over there. So it's a ride over the weekends. If you're a sports fan, like, oh my gosh, we're going to win. We're going to lose. We're going to win. We're going to lose. And it's all over the place. And then we won this weekend. It was amazing at the last drive of we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, let's get the opening out of the way. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's Thanksgiving. Leftovers still good, I hope. I mean, we still have a little ham left over. We had a little honey baked ham this year. We had turkey. Of course, we had dressing balls, my grandma's recipe there that she made my entire life. I've been having dressing balls for over 50 years of my life. My grandma passed away probably 20 years, probably 15 years ago at this point. But my wife continues the tradition. That's why I love my wife. She's super thoughtful. She continues to make the dressing balls that I love. My dad comes over. My dad joined us for Thanksgiving this year. He must have had 10 of them. Every time I saw him going back to the table, he was devouring them, just like he did back in the day at my grandma's house when we used to have Thanksgiving dinner when I was a kid. I mean, my dad would destroy them there, and he was destroying them in 2024 at my house, and I couldn't have been happier. My wife couldn't have been happier. It was just like the old days. So if you had a great Thanksgiving, I was wondering about this with you guys because it's kind of cool, over a Thanksgiving weekend, you have a little bit more time to kind of slow down. You're maybe full from eating and you're watching football. You're just kind of killing time. And you get on your phone and you're seeing, you're scrolling through Instagram, looking at your feed, and you're seeing everybody post their pictures of their meal preps, their dining room tables, and all that stuff. Again, this would be kind of fun feedback because it's going to get into the holiday season, Christmas, and some folks celebrate Hanukkah and stuff like that. Whatever you celebrate, when you get together, again, this is kind of getting back to Mike in the Midwest, because again, I love to see how we're alike and how we're different, because it's great, right? I like to see, oh wow, we have a lot in common, or oh, we do things so differently, and I like to learn from each other. um how do you celebrate Thanksgiving? Because I saw some of our listeners, because again, I follow a ton of people and a lot of people follow me, so it's a wide range of of celebrations, right? Styles. Cause I see this over in the clubhouse at brspodcast.com/clubhouse. Some people, have the big dining room table with the fine china and like the napkins and the napkin rings and the seven different kinds of utensils, three forks and a couple of spoons and two knives and all that stuff, and everybody's sitting, it looks like the Beauty and the Beast scene, from the, uh, Be Our Guest. It kind of looks like that, right? And that would be really cool. I'd be very intimidated at that kind of a Thanksgiving, but it would be cool, right? I mean, it looks like something out of a movie. At our house, we don't have a big table. We don't have a very big house, for one thing. So we have just a little square table in our kitchen that only has 6 seats. So basically, we just put all the food along our kitchen kind of countertop, and then we just say we call people in by groups. I got to go first because my birthday was the day before, so I get to lead the group, even though I'm not a guest, since I was the birthday person. I led the procession, and then my dad and some other folks, and uh, Pam's parents, and we go, I guess, by age before beauty or something. I don't even know how it came down, but we call people through, and then you know, you make your plates. And here's the thing: we don't use napkins or napkin. I mean, we use napkins. Don't get me wrong, we're not using like our sleeves. We're not barbarians, but we use paper plates. We have like a setup, right? We use paper plates, but I mean they're cute paper plates, right? They have like the turkeys on them. They say Happy Thanksgiving. We have matching napkins. We have the colored plasticware, you know, the orange forks, knives, and spoons, and it's a piece of cake. But it's so different than what I've seen. And now I see other families that do this too, but I don't know if it's like a Midwestern thing or not. If it's just that this is what we do. We had 21 people at our house, and we just spread out around the living room, the kitchen. Some people, like Pam and her sisters, all sit at the kitchen table, and her mom. That's like where they camp out. I sit in my easy chair in the living room. We do have we do have those TV trays. Like we have 4 of those, so I go get one of those TV trays because this is a bigger table, a bigger plate than normal. Because now I have ham, turkey, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans and corn, rolls. I mean, cranberry, so you know, the stuff out of the can, still got the rings on it. I'm doing the whole deal. So I have to get a TV tray because it's serious. It's too hard to eat in my lap. But I'm sitting there watching, of course, that time because it was around noon. I was watching the Lions and the Bears. RIP Matt Eberflus for being the coach there. Bad. But it was, you know, it's a thing. So then some people are eating on the couch over there. 3 people are eating on the couch. My dad was sitting because it's like a 2-seater, my seat and Pam's seat, but he's sitting in Pam's. So he's sitting there eating with another TV tray. That's kind of how we have some, you know, folding chairs in our living room. That's kind of the scene at Thanksgiving at our house. I don't know if this is how it rolls at your house. I bet you a lot of you guys have a very formal looking Thanksgiving. Again, the big Beauty and the Beast scene. But I wonder how many of you guys for your Thanksgiving and then moving into Christmas, because we do it again at Christmas, but Christmas we don't host. We go to on Christmas Eve, we go to Pam's parents' house, but it's exactly the same thing. They have kind of an island at her parents' house, and her parents' house is smaller than ours. And we have more people. I think we have probably about 25 there. And it is just super tight. So everybody just gets their food and you sit on the floor, you sit wherever you can find a seat. Like if you can get a piece of the couch, you're in luck. Or you know, there's a bench like kind of rolled out. There's folding chairs. You just get whatever you can get. But the food is awesome. Everybody brings something. We have dollar roll sandwiches and stuff like that, chicken wings. We get Wingstop, pizzas. People some bring pizzas, and oh, it's so good. People bring meatballs, little meatballs, and little smokies out of crock pots. I mean, it's such a Midwestern thing, but that's kind of how we do it. I don't go anywhere to any family celebrations where you sit at a fancy table with like china. Um, I don't have any family like that. But as I was looking around at Thanksgiving, I saw a lot of celebrations where you did. And I mean, there's a time and a place for that. I think that would be super cool to do that. But at this point in my life, like I'd be super intimidated by that. Now, in the past, I have gone to families that did that. And I know how to act. I mean, I can do that if I had to, but it's been a while. So I don't know. So that's one thing I was going to ask this week is what is your traditional role? So put that in the feedback, because I think it would be great to everybody sit around a big table too, and everybody go around and give thanks. Like say one thing I would like to do that. I think that'd be cool. Like everybody sitting at one table, everybody go around and say, you know what, this year, what's one thing we're thankful for? Because we don't do that. I would like to do that. That'd be super cool because everybody's like in different rooms. The kids are downstairs eating, hopefully not getting it all over my couch downstairs because downstairs is my domain. But I try to just not think about that. But that's kind of how we roll Thanksgiving. I wanted to bring that up today. So hope you're doing well. Hope you had all the turkey, all the ham, all the potatoes, all the mac and cheese. We don't have mac and cheese here for Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people, the football player, they asked the football players what their favorite side was at Mizzou. And almost every one of them said mac and cheese. We don't do mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. So hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and it continues here on Sunday, December 1st, as we record the show. December. We are into December. Holy cow. I did check in for my Disney cruise late last night on the Disney Treasure, which I'll be leaving for that excursion here in 10 days. I'll go down on December 11th, staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge for the night before the cruise, and then going out on the Disney Treasure for 3 nights. So super excited for that. We will be having internet while we're on the ship. So follow me on the social media. And if you have any questions, you guys especially, if you want me to go take a picture of something, a video of something, man, if you're a patron, just let me know. And I will, because I'm not going with my wife. I'm not going with my kids. I will grab that video for you. If you have a question, like you want to know something because you're sailing on the Treasure sometime coming up, I will go after that and find out the answer for you. I did get our itinerary last night, I think it was, an email, and we do get to tour the Tower Suite. We get to go tour all the stateroom, like we get to tour each category of stateroom to see what they, shoot video and see what they look like, and all the amenities of like an inside, ocean view, a veranda, the Tower Suite, stuff like that. So you get to see all that stuff. So it's going to be neat. Of course, I'm going to go to the Haunted Mansion Lounge and the Periscope Lounge and all that good stuff. And I'll ride the Aqua Mouse and all that good stuff. And I'm going to go down the slide this time, going into the kids club. I have to, right? So we're going to have fun. So that's coming up in about less than 2 weeks. And by the way, what makes me want to go on this even more? Right now, we have 3.5 inches of snow on the ground outside the BOGP Studios. 3.5 inches of snow. And it is currently 20 degrees outside. 20 degrees. I just took Riley for a walk. Froze. It is so cold. And I almost fell because I slipped on ice. I know it's Missouri and it's wintertime now, but usually it doesn't get this cold yet. It's usually like 30, 35, 20 degrees. We don't need this cold yet. So anyway, that's where we are. The Bahamas right now is sounding really good. Even if it's just for 3 days, give me some of that. I'm ready. And a cruise ship and a drink and a Haunted Mansion bar and a Periscope club. Let's go. All right. So last week, so that's kind of what's going on around here. Not a whole lot. So, and I'm not going to make this show super long because, you guys are busy. I know it's like it's holiday. It's a crazy weekend. You got Cyber Monday coming up tomorrow. You got to is Cyber Monday even still a thing? I think Cyber Monday came around. Again, I'm kind of a nerd and I used to study all this stuff. Cyber Monday came around because people went back to work the Monday after Black Friday. Like Black Friday, everybody went out shopping physically to stores. And that's the time where department stores and all the physical big box stores, all the stores where you would actually go out and shop, their numbers would go into the black because that's when they turned a profit for the year because they would have all the deep discounts and so forth. But Cyber Monday was such that people at home would get the deals online when they went back to work on Monday because the internet access at work back in the 90s was such that it was way faster at work when you got on the work's internet connection than it was at home. And now I'm guessing it's probably flip-flop that. Everybody's got probably at least a better internet connection at home than they do at work. Or like me, I'm at work right now. I don't ever leave the house. So yeah, I did get I've gotten like 7 Amazon emails already today. Cyber Monday deals still going. I'm like, still going? It's Sunday. It isn't even Monday yet. How's it still going? We're not even there yet. Slow your roll. And Black Friday for Amazon's been going since July. So, dude, I'm over it. Like I told my wife, like, I feel like Black Friday has been going for 6 months. Like when it was Friday, I'm like, is it Black Friday still? Like, it was the weirdest feeling this year. Anyway, so enjoy Cyber Monday tomorrow. We're not going to try to make this show super long, but hey, hopefully we're just keeping you company. I appreciate you guys being a patron. I put the show out every week just so we can keep you company. If you're walking the dog or doing the dishes, just something to just hang out with you here for about 25 minutes or so, just to pass the time, maybe to give you something to talk to your significant other about. Like Mike brought up this topic in his dumb show that I listened to. I don't know why I listened to this show. It's just something that came up on my feed. But Mike said this, hey, did you remember about Thanksgiving? We use paper plates too. Mike uses paper plates. Can you believe that? They're bums. No, just kidding. All right. So, but last week we talked about road trips and how my dad used to take his Datsun pickup truck, and he loved that little thing, his little brown Datsun pickup that was a diesel. I have not seen one of those in so long. And like on days like today, we'd have to go out and get that special gas, that diesel fuel, because when it got below freezing, diesel fuel gels. It turns to like gel. He'd have to get number 2 diesel. We had to go to this stupid gas station that was far away to get special gas and put in there. I just remember it was such a hassle. He'd be like, hey, buddy, want to go with me to get number 2 diesel? And I'd be like, no. He'd be like, oh, come on, buddy. And so I'd have to get with him. We'd have to go all the way to Ferguson to go get this special gas. And of course, you know, if it was cold enough to have to get it, you had to go get on a coat, get on gloves, get on a stocking cap. And I mean, how exciting was it to get in the back of a pickup truck and go drive across town to go get gas? Super exciting, but I went. Okay. Dennis down in Texas, he had feedback. He says, we didn't travel for Thanksgiving when I was a kid. My parents had the most space, so people usually came to us. However, this episode sparked a memory of the first Thanksgiving after my wife and I got married. We moved to Texas from St. Louis literally 2 weeks after our ceremony. When Thanksgiving rolled around, we were flying back to St. Louis to celebrate with my family. We left our house about 3.5 hours before our flight for what should have been a 45-minute drive the night before Thanksgiving. Then it started to snow. That is pretty rare for the Dallas area to begin with, but it started to snow hard. Our 45-minute drive turned into an hour, then 2 hours, and then 3 hours. We were very worried we were going to miss our flight. Keep in mind, this was before smartphones. This was before most people even had a cell phone. So all we could do was stress out while moving at a glacial pace on the highway. We couldn't even call my family to say we might not make it. We finally got to the airport with little more than 20 minutes to spare. Everything broke our way after that. I dropped my wife off with the luggage to get that checked while I frantically looked for a parking spot, and I miraculously found one right away. We sprinted through security and got to our gate with about 10 minutes to spare. Our seats had been given away, but the agent at the gate said that she could still get us on the plane. We grabbed our boarding passes and sprinted onto the plane, and then we noticed he put us in the first row of first class. We laughed off the accumulated stress for about 15 minutes before passing out for most of the flight. Have a great Thanksgiving, Mike. You know what? That sounds like a scene out of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles right there. I mean, exactly. And that kind of gets to what I wanted. That's a great segue into today's main topic. And it's really to be thankful even for the tough times, right? We're looking at Thanksgiving, right? And there's so much to be thankful for. And again, I've said I try to always make an emphasis on this show to say thank you for continuing to support us on Patreon. I know that you might not think a $5 donation every month means a lot, but it does, because cumulatively it means a ton because it keeps us on the air. I don't talk about the financials of our show, but our hosting service, they doubled the price of all this to do the video hosting. And that's how we connect. That's how we record our show. It went up over twice as much annually this past year. And it's not, I mean, I pay it and it's not a big deal, but your contributions definitely keep us on the air. It definitely does. So it's very much appreciated. And if you can continue to support us, I would appreciate that here moving into 2025. So thank you for that. And I'll continue to do everything I can. I mean, again, I will always try to put out as much content as I can, you know, not just one show a week, but 3-4 shows a week. I try to do the live call-in shows to make that different, to give us something that's more fun. So you can be a part of the show. If you have something you want to talk about every week, give us a call. It's your show. We have this bonus show. I try to make it worth your while. So I do appreciate you. But I was thinking about, you know, how we need to be thankful for things that are kind of out of the norm. So I think I talked about this last week, right? I got a little nostalgic and I got on eBay and I bought something for 16 bucks and it came yesterday. When my wife and I were teaching 6th grade together, we taught next door to each other. I've told this story, right? Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate that. Um, we met because we taught next door to each other, my wife and I, and we taught 6th grade together for 9 years. I taught in room 135, she taught in room 137. And so we had a good time. Ms. Bullington's class always played Mr. Rahman's class in kickball. I always took her class out for extra recess if I wanted, to like impress her or something, and then, all that kind of stuff, right? We always played each other in like math games. Our classes were always together. And of course, after a while, I left that school to go teach gifted education because I wanted a little change. I wanted to try something a little different. I got offered a position to teach gifted education. So it's hard to leave because I love teaching with Pam. She went down and taught 4th grade instead of 6th grade after that. And so, we didn't teach together anymore. But I love those 9 years we taught together. And during the time we taught together, we taught out of this reading book with the kids. And I got super nostalgic the other day, last week, for this book. Now, if you're watching the video at youtube.com/BRGS podcast, it came yesterday. And you might think I am an idiot for paying $16 for this, but I went and found a student copy of the reading book that our kids used back in 1999 that we taught from. And when I opened this, it's still cold because I just got out of the mailbox. The joy that just came through my heart when I opened this. Now, this isn't from our school because I just found a used copy. It's actually from the Carl Stewart Middle School in Conway, Arkansas. But it's got like on the inside, it's got the thing that shows who checked it out. Kyle McMahon had it one year and James Murphy had it the next year, who signed it out. But it's what it has all the stories that we read with our kids in reading class. And the thing is like how this gets back to being thankful is back in like from like 1999 to 2010, this book gave me so much stress. Really, it did. This book gave me so much stress because I lived out of this book. I mean, this book was my living. I taught because English language arts is what I taught every morning. I taught basically from 9 in the morning till lunchtime, till probably about 11:30. And I took teaching super seriously. I wanted my kids to get the highest scores on the state tests. I just wanted to be the best they could be. And I thought it always started with, English language arts. I teach, reading, spelling, grammar, all that stuff. But I taught it integrated out of this book. And so using that book, I used to just stress out because I'd, just devour that book. There were so many lessons and all these reading things. So when I was a new teacher straight out of college and I was given this book, and of course there were tons of other books. There was a teacher's edition that had all the other stuff. There was a spelling teacher's edition. There was a grammar book. There was all kinds of other stuff. But this book back in the, early 2000s, it gave me so much stress. This gave me so much stress because I wanted to do the best I could by my students. However, looking back looking back through different eyes in 2024, being removed from teaching, all this book brings me is joy. Because when I look back, I remember reading these stories with my kids. Like I just opened up to this random page and they have the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. King in here. And it's in between like longer stories because the way this book is set up, it's set up into 6 different themes about perseverance and overcoming challenges and about creativity. There's 4 stories and 6 different themes in this book. There's 24 stories. And they have like little, little bonus things like this I Have a Dream speech by Dr. King. And I just remember we would do this in February because it's Black History Month, right? And I taught in a very diverse school district. Almost all my students were African American. I taught in Ferguson, Missouri, and we would have these discussions about, race and how, you can't let anything hold you back, right? You had to embrace things and you had to overcome challenges all the time. Didn't matter what your race was. It didn't matter if you're black, white. I mean, I was white. They, so students were black. Some of my students were white. Didn't matter. I had Asian students. But what was Dr. King saying? He wanted equality. And, I looked back at this, but it was at the time it was so hard to try to figure out as a teacher who didn't have experience. I remember how stressed I was looking at all this, like trying to figure out how to quiz my students on these stories. I just remember how stressed I was teaching out of this book. This book gave me anxiety. But now when I look at it, I want to read this book cover to cover, because just opening those books and looking at those stories, I see student Alicia. I see student Jillian. I see student Nia. I see student Kurt. I remember Kurt. He was so funny. All my students, like we had some good times. Some of them had a hard time reading, but man, I remember sitting like side by side with some of my kids and like, we're going to figure this out. We are going to, but this book gave me stress. So you got to be happy. You got to be thankful for the hard times, because eventually they can turn into the better times. Also, another thing I was thinking about over Thanksgiving was social media is such a double-edged sword. I talked about this at the top, right? I'm on Twitter. I'm on, you know, Instagram. I like Instagram because I just like looking at pictures and stupid videos of golden doodle dogs and stuff because of Riley. And I don't get on Facebook very often, but of course, you get on there every once in a while because like we're trying to find something for Mallory for Christmas, like this hooded sweatshirt or something at Fanatics. And so I got on Facebook and I'm scrolling through like a feed. This was again over Thanksgiving. And I'm looking at it and I thought, think about perspective. And I was like, I'm going to do this during Mike in the Midwest. And I just opened Facebook on my phone right now. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you that if you have the right perspective, every post, and your name, I'm not going to give last names or anything, but it can make you happy almost Facebook is can be a trash place, right? Because people can complain and whine and get in fights about everything in the world. But here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing my friend Cheryl, who doesn't even live in the United States, post an amazing workout today. I mean, overcoming an injury, great workout. I mean, that's an accomplishment. I'm super proud of her. That's awesome. And what I'm seeing is a bunch of replies of people being encouraging to her. That's positive. That's power. Now I'm going to skip the ads. I'm seeing, well, right here, Scott. We know Scott's down at Walt Disney World right now, my best bud in the world. He's down there and they're doing a senior picture thing that capture your moment with his beautiful daughter Emily, and Elizabeth's there, and they're all working together there to do these senior pictures. And I'm seeing those pictures. I mean, beautiful, right in front of Cinderella Castle. I mean, that's what social media is about, is sharing beautiful pictures of your family. I mean, that's Scott celebrating his family. That's beautiful. Social media right there. That's good. I'm seeing my friend Troy, who is a police officer in Florida, who protects us, who serves his community, with his beautiful wife. They're decked out at Jollywood Nights last night at Hollywood Studios. I mean, he's got the bow tie, the vest. They're in front of Hollywood Tower of Terror. They're with Jose Carioca. They're having the time of their lives. God bless them. I love that. I'm seeing, and here's another thing. I'm seeing, so I think I've talked about my best buddy. He's my really good friend, Steve. He was my catcher growing up when I was a kid, all through Little League. I was the pitcher. He was the catcher. He was killed by a drunk driver about 15 years ago now. He was a PE teacher in a local school district. We played softball together. We were in a men's softball league, and we played every weeknight, and just we played on a Tuesday night, and I said, I'll see you next week. And I found out on that following Saturday, I was at Paige's soccer game. I got a phone call that Steve had been killed that night before by a drunk driver. He'd been rear-ended and he was no longer with us. And he was just gone. So I miss Steve every day. And but I see his little sister. I still because I'm still close with the family, but I see his little sister Lindsay. She took her family yesterday to Mizzou to the snow game. We had 3 inches of snow at Mizzou, and she took her family. She has 3 beautiful boys and her husband to Mizzou. They'd never been to a football game at Mizzou. And so her kids got to see their very first game at the zoo yesterday, all bundled up in the snow. So how cool is that? They're just smiling as big as anything. Oh, and then I see a picture of Paige. They're up in Minnesota getting ready for their basketball game, which is going to take place here in exactly 1 hour. They're taking on, I don't know who they're playing St. Thomas, University of St. Thomas up in Minnesota. So go Flames. So the thing is, social media can be, yeah, it can be, a downer, right? Anything can be a downer. But if you embrace things and look at things from the other perspective, you could be on people are whining on here. But what I did, what I just did? I saw a couple of advertisements and I saw a couple of posts of people whining about things. You know what I did? Flipped right past them. It's okay. I'm thankful for the good. 95% of what I just saw was great. And I embrace the great. And I'm thankful for the great. Because you know what, in my life, I have so much more good in it than I deserve. And we're just super lucky. So here's what I was thinking I would try to challenge you with this week. And I was trying to leave you with something. I know today's not very exciting, but we're all to the point in our life where we've had great, probably fun experiences from the past that we look back on fondly. I had the skating rink. Right. Okay. So real quick. Okay. Here's one other thing I want to bring up. So at the end of the Mizzou season, home season, which just wrapped up for us yesterday, our football team, Mizzou, I got to brag on us. We won every home game this year. We went undefeated at home. Hallelujah. Brady Cook scored the final touchdown yesterday. The quarterback that I love, he scored with like 2 minutes to go. 30-yard rush. Oh, God, he ran right down the field, won the game 28-21, ran right towards the Rock M. If you know our field, we have a Rock M on the hill. He ran right straight to the Rock M, scored the touchdown. I mean, it was just a storybook ending. Won the game in the snow. It was unbelievable. But tradition has it at Mizzou, this is how it works. If you win your final home game, the seniors get 2 things. The seniors get carried off the field, and you get to walk over to the Rock M because there's a big M on our hill. If you see our field, we got a big M made out of rocks, big white rocks. You get to go pick a rock to take home to keep forever. You get to get a Rock M. And so they won. And Brady had said forever, he's like, I wanted to be carried off the field and I want to Rock M. I want to win that last home game. So they did. And we were losing with 4 minutes to go by one point. I was like, oh my God, please let Brady win this game because I love Brady. And we did. So he got his Rock M. I was thinking, so you guys know how much I loved back in the day my skating rink, Spinning Wheels, right? I grew up there. My next door neighbors owned it. I had been there since I was 3 years old. The next door neighbor's wife babysat me. So we grew up. I mean, I was there constantly. I was there 6 days a week, my whole childhood. And then I was working there since I was 14. I speed skated there. I managed the place. I was there constant. I was there even when I was still teaching. I worked there part-time. I played hockey there. I literally lived at Spinning Wheels till I was married. But then they knocked it down because they sold the lot for over $1 million to put up a Gold's Gym. I don't blame Ron. If somebody's going to give me $1 million to sell a 50-year-old building, I'd probably sell it too. But when they knocked it down, I went up there and got a brick. I got a piece of the building. I got a brick from the corner of the building where the DJ booth was, because that's where I spent most of my time, was in the DJ booth drinking Pepsis and eating hot dogs. So I have a pink brick because that's the color of the DJ booth was. It's kind of a purpley pink. in the storage room to remind me of that place. So here's another thing besides the Thanksgiving thing for next week's feedback. Do you have a memento from like a ballpark? Some people have like chairs from your favorite old ballpark. I think my dad has a chair from Busch Stadium too. I don't have that kind of money. I know. I wish I did. But do you have like a memento? Like that's my memento. I have it from Spinning Wheels because I just went up there and just dragged it out of the pile before they put it in the dump truck. But I have that, and that's super special to me. If I lost that, I'd be ticked because I mean that means the world to me. Nobody else cares about that stupid brick. I do because that was there with me my whole life. It was Aloha before it was Spinning Wheels. So do you have any like memento like that? A piece of history. That's my piece of history. I wish I had a piece of Jamestown Mall. I think it's all gone now. It's probably radioactive. I probably shouldn't. Anyway, hope you're having a great weekend. Let's get back together again next week. And I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. All right. So thank you again for being here. Hope you're having a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you. Oh, live show tonight. Be here because Scott's not here. I need your calls. All right. Have a good one. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you real soon.